A government jeep hits the pedestrian and who's liable?
The driver or the state?
Hello to the house at large. I, Arpita,
And I, Kritika Saha, the student of Bennett University,
would like to present to you the case of
Vidyawati versus State of Rajasthan.
which is a landmark judgment of constitutional tort.
The case arose soon after independence when administration of princely state like Rajasthan was being reorganized.
The state of Rajasthan had purchased a jeep for the official use of the collector of the Udaipur district, a senior government officer.
The jeep was registered in the name of the state government and maintained at the government expenses.
The driver of the jeep was a government servant who was employed by the state. His duties included operating the vehicle and ensuring that it was available for the collector's official work.
The jeep was sent to a repair workshop for maintenance, and after the completion of the repairs, the driver were instructed to bring it back to the collector's residence. While driving it back to the collector's residence, the driver drove negligently and rashly on the road of Udaipur.
Due to the careless driving, the jeep struck a pedestrian, Jagdish Lal, who was walking alongside the road. The impact caused serious injuries, and Jagdish Lal shortly succumbed to his injuries after the incident.
I, as Vidyawati's lawyer, state that State of Rajasthan, as the employer of the driver, was vicariously liable for the acts committed by its employees during the course of employment.
And I, as the public prosecutor, state that the state cannot be held liable for its tortious acts of its servant as it enjoys sovereign immunity.
It was emphasized that the driver was not acting privately or for his own purpose, rather, he was acting official duty assigned by the government.
A private employer may be held vicariously liable under tort law, but the state performs public duty for the welfare and the governance of its citizens and not for profit.
Therefore, a relationship of master and servant existed, making the state, the employer, legally responsible for the act done by its servant during the course of employment.
Relying on the old British principle that the king can do no wrong, meaning that the sovereign authority is not answerable in court for acts done in the exercise of its power. Since the Indian has followed the British governance system, it shall continue to proceed.
Now the issue arises whether the state of Rajasthan can be held liable in tort like an ordinary person for the negligent act of one of its employees while performing a non-sovereign or routine function. The Supreme Court dismissed the appeal filed by the state of Rajasthan. It was held that the state of Rajasthan was vicariously liable for the negligent and wrongful act of its employees, the government driver, because the accident occurred when he was performing an official duty.
The court clearly stated that the doctrine of sovereign immunity, meaning that the state cannot be sued for the wrongful act of its servants, clearly does not apply in this case.
The court gave a very important reason that reflects the spirit of a constitution and democracy. It said that India is no longer ruled by a monarch. We are a democratic republic governed by the rule of law, and the old British principle that the king can do no wrong cannot be followed in independent India.
The court emphasized that the state exists to serve the people, not to rule them, and when the state performs ordinary functions like administrating and employing drivers and maintaining vehicles, it acts as private individual or organization. So if the servant causes harm or injury due to negligence, the government must compensate the victims.
The judges further observed that justice and fairness are the foundation of a legal system. Denying compensation to an innocent citizen when the fault lies with the government servant would go against the principle of equality and justice guaranteed by the Constitution.
Therefore, the court concluded that the state cannot escape liability for wrongful acts committed in sovereign capacities, and it ensures that the citizens are protected from administrative negligence.
This was the first major case in independent India where the Supreme Court clearly held the state liable for the negligent act of its servant. It marked the beginning of a new era in Indian law, one that emphasized state accountability and citizens' rights.
This case was the first major decision in independent India where the court held the state responsible for the negligence of their employees. It laid the foundation of law of state liability in torts. It strengthened the idea that citizens have the right to seek justice if they are harmed by wrongful acts of the government. Employees, the state cannot hide behind immunity while performing non-sovereign administrative functions.
So the Vidyawati's case marked a turning point. It transformed the Indian government from a ruler with immunity to a responsible servant of the people, bound by law and justice.
This case proved one powerful truth that even the state with all its authority must bow before law. In Vidyawati versus the state of Rajasthan, justice did not fear power. It reminded power of its duty. And from the moment on, India's democracy spoke loud and clear. The government is not above the law, it is bound by it.
A simple woman, Vidyawati, stood up against the state and she won. Her fight wasn't just for her husband, it was for every citizen who believed in justice. The judgment gave a voice to the powerless and a message to the powerful. That justice in a democracy is blind but never silent.
With this, we would like to rest our case, but certainly not our thoughts.
Thank you. This is Arpita
And Kritika, signing off.
collector also there for this. So बस अभी नहीं करना. When India movement बन गई विद्यावती
आप क्या कर रहे हैं?
क्या कर रहे हैं मतलब? यो गैंग
अब मैंने कोई